My friends, good evening. I've been in Dubai for a while now, except for a quick 3-day trip to the United Kingdom, which happens to me once every few months. I haven't been back to Europe. And actually, what can I say today? What can I say? It's not time for conclusions, of course. I left Europe at a very young age. But at this stage, there's one thing I notice, it's the sense of relaxation. I was in the water a few minutes ago and I'm just coming out. I was in the water and I almost fell asleep. I was slowly floating on my back and I was drifting off. I was really about to drift off before falling asleep in the water. I realize Europe forces us to live in an anxiety-inducing environment. When I watch the news from the United Kingdom, which I do almost every day, I really should disconnect, but I watch from time to time, and I've talked to some expats here. They all do the same, because there's this PTSD, this post-traumatic stress sometimes from having lived in Europe, and you watch, you want to see and realize, were you dreaming or not? Are the news always bad, actually? All the time. In the United Kingdom, they always make us live in, she went to the gym, she felt a pain. 3 days later, she was dead. Such a diet causes cancer. I mean, every day new taxes come in. 5 million drivers will be subject to a new fine if they don't do something by the 1st of next month. Constantly, non-stop. There's a bombardment. There's a third world war. You know what I mean? Look, World War III. You want me to talk about the Third World War, man? Look, these are flippers, you see? These are flippers. I have a bunch of flippers, all colors, yellow, red, black. These ones are very basic, you see? They're the best, you can't do any better, okay? They're heavy when you're out of the water. In the water, they become very light. They're very pleasant to use, very powerful. I like them. See? That's what I have to say about World War III. The use of these fins, the tightening of the strap, right? The angle at which they hit the water. Much more important to me than a damn World War III. I don't care if there's a World War III. What do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to stop it or what do you want me to do? All right, to those who like to play the hero, right? Those who are there, who have that Bourbail tone. There you go, it's their country. They want to go save it. They want. I'm only saying one thing. The country where you live, the land where you live, whether it's called France, whether it's called the United Kingdom, whether it's called Spain, no matter what it's called. Well, this country is yours only on certain occasions. When it comes to pouring your money into confiscatory taxes and when it comes to shedding your blood in exchange for a made in China medal that your survivors and those involved will receive, flag. You see what I mean? So that's it. After that, if you feel like going to die in a third world war, and all that so that the children of the caste who run the country, right, will lead it afterwards. And then they become the masters of your descendants, the ones you might have had before going to war, right? Well, go ahead then. Go on. Be my guest. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not stopping you. Go ahead, but I'll be watching. I'm watching from here. You see what I mean? I'm a bit like Brassens. I'm willing to die for ideas, but slowly. All right, so I'm here. I'm watching you. You go. You go for it. I mean, my friends, one thing that changed when I left Europe is realizing that there are so many things that aren't important, but we give them an absolutely disproportionate importance. That's really it. You realize that we're made to live in a kind of stew of culture, stress and mental numbness, and they try to protect us from it, don't we? But it's not easy. It's not easy. In my opinion, the only real way to protect yourself from it is to get out of it, to really leave. There are a lot of people who leave every day, and I've talked to expats here in Dubai. You know what they regret? When I talk to people who are in Dubai, in the Emirates, but not just in the Emirates. I meet people here sometimes who are sometimes just visiting and so on, but when you talk to them, they say, I live in this or that place somewhere in the world and all that. You know, there's one thing they all regret. It's not having left earlier. You see what I mean? It's about having stayed too long, about having accepted the unacceptable for too long. And then they ask themselves, was it worth it? The reality is no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, you see. Just as an example, there are people who say, it's expensive, you know? Yesterday I renewed some domain names. Honestly. These are names, well, they correspond to my servers, my websites, all that. I renewed them for about 100 euros roughly with an American provider. You know, when I entered the address in Dubai, I had 0 VAT. That means I paid 20% less. Here in the UK, on a bill of 100 euros, money that's already been taxed multiple times, I should have added another 20 or 21 euros of VAT. Here there isn't any, right? Just that, you see, it cost me less. For people who wonder about life in Dubai, they say it's expensive and all. Let me tell you something. Look, if someone wants to go live in France, then later he goes to visit, he starts to find out about life in France. Then he says, life in France is super expensive. Because I realized that if you want to live in Paris, in the 8th arrondissement on the Avenue des Champs-Élysées, and you rent a Haussmann-style apartment there, life is really too expensive. Of course. But if you think like that, of course, if you want to eat morning, noon and night at Michelin-starred restaurants and you want to have a duplex or a triplex with a 360-degree view from a tall tower and everything, yes. Of course it's expensive. Yes, I'm telling you, it's expensive. But if you want to live normally, it can be the same price as in Europe. It can even be cheaper than Europe. I mean, you can, you know, look, here I am by the sea, and honestly, look, what's important to me right now? Right now, I don't even have that. If I had half a baguette and a can of olives, my happiness would be complete. That's all I'm missing. See? I don't need that. Just because I live here doesn't mean I'm going to find a restaurant that serves steaks with 24-carat gold leaf on top. Isn't that right? And then I'll eat that and run up a bill of 3,000 euros for the evening. They'll say, Dubai is expensive. Yes. But if you want to go for that kind of spending and that kind of extravagance, the whole world is expensive. You can have that kind of extravagance anywhere, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, anywhere you can have it. But here, there's something for everyone, for every standard of living, and there's no obligation to spend. You're not required to drive a Ferrari, you know, but it's the same in France. You're not required to drive a Ferrari. There are some. Some people here have them, but not everyone drives one. You see what I mean? You live within your means, that's all. But there's something, let me tell you. There's something extraordinary. It's that when I talk to people here, they tell me that people whose income came from online activity, or who came from renting, or from a system of dividends or annuities or whatever, or from online work or consulting or whatever, you know what they tell me? When they arrive here, their income doubles. You're going to ask me, but how? By what miracle? Their income doubles. But how does that work? Actually, it simply doubles because they don't share it with the government. You see what I mean? That's all. It's the same income. Personally, in the United Kingdom, when I earn 1,000 euros roughly, I think there's between 500 and 600 euros for the government and the rest for me. If I earn 1,000 euros here, I keep all 1,000 euros. You see what I mean? These are countries built on a different vision than tax forms and confiscation. That's it, that's all. It's just based on something else, okay? And it works because they attract trillions in investments, because financial groups around the world, people around the world, realize that it's a place where they are protected. Security, calm, very little bureaucracy or none at all, just the bare minimum. Almost zero taxes. So, I mean, when you put all that together, well, there you go. It creates a living environment that is really, really pleasant. That's it. Well, what do you want me to say? I don't know how long I've been here. I've lost count. I've lost count of the days. I've lost track of time. That's it. World War III. I mean, you can say to yourself, yeah, you're screwed. I don't care because I live in the mountains. Well, if you live in the mountains, wherever you are, you also have nothing to gain from the World War. I mean, World War III isn't going to come looking for you if you don't go to it yourself. And if you skip it, if you switch from, if when it comes on TV, you change the channel, well, it's gone, it's over, it's as simple as that. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you. I'm just going to slowly head home. I feel like if I close my eyes now, I'm going to fall asleep. All right, I'll leave you now and I'll see you in the next video. See you very soon.